What are the chances that Naruto will get Speed Force? Absolutely none. There is no chance that Naruto will get Speed Force in Narutoverse. That's just impossible, right? I mean, these are two different concept and two different comic book, so there is no way they will be together. So for fun for this video, we are going to use what if magic to bring Speed Force into Naruto world, and this all starts in universe 12345. I don't know what universe that is, but we know that in some universe of DC multiverse there is a incident of Barry Allen where he does not receive Speed Force before the lightning merges with the chemical that struck him. That lightning disappears from the DC universe or multiverse and ends up in the Narutoverse, and this happens way before Naruto birth. It happens when Kushina was just training with Minato in the village, or rather in the forest. So when they were training, a bolt of lightning suddenly strikes Kushina down, and this got Minato extremely anxious because that lightning bolt appeared out of nowhere and it struck Kushina. From that moment, Kushina spends nearly 3 years in coma, and after that they continue their life, they get married and they have a baby, Naruto. And what ends up happening is that Kushina did not receive Speed Force. Her body was rejecting Speed Force. So when she finally gave birth to Naruto, Naruto inherited that Speed Force. Naruto got that Speed Force from Kushina, and after his birth, he get 9 tails as well, because that's just how the story moved forward. And so we are going to start from the age of 5. This is where we will see some changes in Naruto, because he starts awakening his speed. Naruto as a child is really trying to get attention of others, so he starts drawing things around and he starts playing, he starts messing with people, and this irritates people. One time when he did one of his shenanigans, he was caught up by the people and they start chasing him, because obviously Naruto is going to run away from them. He didn't want to get beaten by them. While he was running, they were also chasing him very fast. So during his run, he suddenly notices a strange thing around him. He felt like his body was vibrating, and this vibration was so powerful that he starts getting his body move like a vibrator, and until he suddenly realizes that he was going to strike a pole in front of him, his body suddenly phases through that pole. I know this sounds suspicious, because Flash realizes this power way later in the Flash comic, but we are going to give him phasing ability right now, because there is something you need to understand. Naruto had Speed Force for 5 years, but he did not realize it, or rather awakened this Speed Force until the age of 5. Do you know why? It's simple. Kushina did not awaken her Speed Force because she was Uzumaki, and because of her bloodline was rejecting Speed Force so much so that it did not allow her to achieve that Speed Force. When Naruto was at the age of 5, when he was feeling extremely angry, hateful, down, and all of these negative emotion, they started weakening the seal, and because the seal was weakened, the Ninetale was slowly influencing his body. Like the chakra of Ninetale was slowly spreading around Naruto, and it was slowly increasing chakra reserve of Naruto. And because of this, Uzumaki power or Uzumaki bloodline, or what that I can say, that Uzumaki bloodline was slowly suppressed, and this causes Speed Force to rise up. This causes Speed Force to show some kind of reaction into his body, and finally when it got a chance to show its power, it immediately shot up toward the sky. Like, that's just a reference, but you understand, right? Speed Force just skyrocketed and its power flowed through his body, and in an instant Naruto was already out of the Konoha village. He did not understand what just happened. He just like vanished, and the next time he was already outside the village. And when he stopped, he realized that his hands were still vibrating, and he freaked out for a moment. He did not know what to do. He tried to move around, and when he was moving, his body instantly moved unlike his normal speed, and he ended up colliding against the tree. This time he did not phase through, and slowly he started colliding against 2-3 trees until he eventually passed out. And this happened because he was hungry, extremely hungry, and without proper nutrition he obviously was going to pass out. So after he passed out, he just laid up there like he had no one to take care of him in the middle of road, like he was somewhere far from Konoha. And by the time he wakes up, the Konoha was already alerted and they were searching for him. Obviously they could not find him because he was like 50 miles or even 100 miles away from Konoha. So after he wakes up, he tries to find some food because he was extremely hungry. He moves around, but he realizes that he doesn't even have the energy to move around. He was extremely exhausted, so he doesn't know what to do. He was just a 5-year-old child, and now he was at the middle of a road. So he starts crying, and this is really heartbreaking because we know that Naruto never really got a chance to have a proper nutrition diet. He never get a chance to have proper food, and now that he was crying because he could not even get food when he was extremely hungry, it is really hard to imagine. And he was at the middle of a road somewhere. He doesn't even know where. He just lays on the ground. A day passed, 2 days passed, 3 days passed, and nobody was walking on that road. Somehow, I don't know why, but nobody was walking on that road. And because of that, he was extremely on the verge of death. Like he had no energy to even move. And at this moment, a strange voice rang in his head. "Brat, are you really going to die right here?" It was the voice of Ninetale, and even though Naruto was hearing it, he could not even reply. He didn't know why this voice was ringing in his head. He didn't know to whom this voice belonged to, nor did he had the energy to think about it, until he suddenly feels a strange power flowing through his veins. He feels energetic, and when he feels energetic, he immediately gets up. He immediately runs away and tries to find at least water. He tries to find river around him, and eventually he reaches a river and he drinks the water from that river. After drinking some water, he finally feels a little bit relieved and realizes that he was at the middle of a forest, like not at the middle, but he was somewhere in the forest, and because he was in the forest, there was no one around. This creates a problem because Naruto had no idea what to do now. He had no idea where Konoha is. He had no idea whether Konoha people are even going to find him. He didn't even believe they would do because they totally hated him. They wished that he was gone many times. They even said it in his face. They knew, they told him so many times that he knew they were not going to come for him. So he makes up his mind to survive on his own. He tries to at least make up his mind, but when he tries to stand up, he feels his legs shaking, and he feels that he had no energy in his body. His energy was somehow consumed, all of his energy, like the recent power that he received from something. It was completely absorbed by his body, and he didn't even know where it went. Obviously it was absorbed by Speed Force, but Naruto didn't know that. So at this moment, a voice rings in his head once again. "Brat, come in." So when this voice rings, Naruto suddenly Naruto doesn't disappear. His conscious mind disappears from his brain, and it enters his mental plane. I guess it is mental plane. Yes, his mental plane, where Naruto sees a giant cage, and behind that cage there was nothing but darkness. And at this moment, the voice once again rang. "Brad, that was quite a miraculous power you got there, but it will lead you to death. Now you have no choice but to remove that seal, because if you don't, you are going to die hungry. You are going to starve to death. So make your choice. Naruto doesn't know how to respond to this because he doesn't even know who he was talking to. He only knows that people calls him demon, and that's what he thinks he was. Like the thing that was in front of him, the darkness, he thought this was the demon that the people were talking about. So at this moment he didn't know what to say. He was just a 5-year-old kid. He asks, if I let you go, would you find some food for me? Ninetale was amused by this because he didn't know how to respond to this kid's request. Naruto was not sure how to talk to that either, so he basically said whatever came to his mind, and Ninetales replied, Brad, I can't find food for you, but believe me, if you let me go right now, I will definitely not eat you. Then I can't let you go, Naruto said, and to his response, Ninetale asks, why? So Naruto replies, because if you are not going to eat me, you are definitely going to eat others. So I cannot just let you out because you are going to eat someone else. At this moment, Ninetales realized that he was just a child who was good, even though he was treated so badly and so poorly, and this makes Ninetale feel bad about Naruto. But of course, he didn't think too much about that. He just said, if you let me out, I'm not going to eat any human. I'm just going to go and mind my own business, just like you should do. So hurry up and break that seal if you want to survive, that is. Now Naruto didn't know what to do. He was left alone. He had no one to ask. He didn't even know what he was doing was right or not. What he was thinking was right or not. So basically, Naruto made the decision based on his instinct, or rather his hunger, his will to survive. He said, alright, I'm going to release you, but I just hope that you won't do anything bad. Of course, Ninetale didn't care about his words, but he still nodded. Naruto looked at him and said, but I cannot reach there. And Ninetale said, you can just float here. After hearing that, Naruto giggled, and then he floated toward the cage. He put his hand on the seal, and at this moment he was just about to hit. A figure suddenly holds his hand. Naruto didn't understand, or rather didn't know who that person was. He turned around and see the person was very similar to 4th Hokage's statue, or rather face, and this made him surprised because he didn't know what 4th Hokage was doing inside of him. And at this moment, Minato was surprised. He was surprised because Naruto was just a kid. There was no hatred burning inside of him. He was just a kid, and he seemed quite fine as well. So Minato did not understand why was Naruto pulling out the seal. He looked at Ninetale and said, what are you doing to my child? I am saving your child, Minato. A child cursed by your village, hated by your village, and left alone to starve to death. I am saving your child, Minato. When Ninetale said that, Minato did not respond for a moment. He turned around and looked at Naruto. Naruto at this moment was just at the age of 5. He was confused. Why is Naruto inside at such a young age? The seal should have prevented you from talking to him. What is happening here? And at this moment, Tail speaks, Minato, you forgot about me. I feed on negative energy. The anger, the hatred, the sadness inside your child was the food for me. It has been this way for 2 years. So what do you think your village did to your child? Tell me, Minato. Did you think that your child would live a good life because you placed a demon inside of him, and now the entire village hates him? The crappy treatment that he receives, even though he is the son of the 4th Hokage. You should be the hero of the village, and now your son is being treated as a demon. What kind of fate did you choose for your own child, Minato? Such a pity that you are not even there to help your child live a good life. Left alone, hated, and even sometimes beaten by your own people. That kind of life you left for your own son, Minato. You turned him into a demon and now he's suffering because of what you did to him. At this moment, Minato looks at his child and sees Naruto crying, his face filled with tears and no words coming out of his mouth. At this moment, Minato feels pain in his heart and he did not know what to say. The village that he protected was now hating his child, and he knows that Ninetale was not manipulating him, because there was no way the seal would be weakened this soon if it was not for the hatred and sadness inside Naruto. So he understands that Ninetale was telling the truth, but this made him enraged even more, because he did this to his child because he believed that one day his child would become the child of prophecy. One day he would become the hero, but that didn't mean he wanted his child to live a rough life. He believed that Lord Third will give him at least a good life, at least take care of him. But now looking at Naruto seeing the tears filling his face, he did not know what to say. He just walks near Naruto and grabs him. He cannot come out, but he knows that he was needed. His son needed him and he was not there. At this moment he felt like a total trash and it breaks him even more. He hugs Naruto like he has never hugged before, and at this moment finally his eyes turn red and he looks at Ninetales. He says, Ninetales, I know we have a lot of hatred against each other. I know I have sealed half of you inside my son and half of you inside me. I know that it's part of my fault and I did what I thought was better, but now I regret doing this to you. I regret doing this to my child. Help me one last time and I will also help you. Let's make a deal.